Hey guys, we are live. What is going on out there this afternoon? Brent Abel here, webtennis.com. Another episode of Tennis Mindset Training, otherwise maybe known as a little bit of tennis mental toughness. Oh, a term I never really ever quite understood. Mental toughness. Thought it used to be like you had to be Marcus Aurelius. You had to be Mr. Stoic out there, right? Couldn't show any emotion. Had to be like this. I don't know, the Iceman. It'd be like Borg. I'm sure. Well, of course, we know that the Bjorn back in the day when he was a kid, he was chucking rackets all over the place, and mom and dad finally got to him and said, "You're done for a while. The rackets are in the closet until you just stop this. You're done." And sure enough, he decided he wanted to play tennis, so he stopped doing it. And yeah, just had a great a great mindset out there. A great, I don't know, looked pretty stoic, looked pretty, but inside, man, I could never do that. I just never ever figured that out. So, look, today what I want to do is let's talk about three reasons, and there's probably a whole lot more, but I'm going to talk about three reasons why we have a frustrating, maybe I should have said frustratingly wide SLR. And if you're kind of new to my stuff here at Web Tennis, the SLR stands for skill level range. And we actually want a narrow skill level range, meaning that we play within this range, right? Some points, maybe some game sets, even some days we go out there and we play at the very top of our current skill level. Maybe even some points a little bit higher than what we normally do. But unfortunately, there's way too many times when we play at this lower level. And it's kind of the average, right? Our rating, if you've got an NTRP computer rating, and let's call it 4.0, just as an example. I mean, that rating is really an average of where you play above it and where you play below it. And if you have this wide range, sometimes you really play great and other times you don't. That's really frustrating because what happens is you have no confidence from point to point how you're going to play the next point. And, if you get to a situation where, let's say you're serving for the first set, you're playing a good guy, maybe right there at your level, maybe a little bit above your level, and all of a sudden not all of a sudden, but for the most of that set, you've been playing on average above your 4.0 rating. And now all of a sudden you get to that 5.4 and you're serving for it, and some of their voices popping off going, not sure if we can really close the door because there's always a chance that we can play down in here. And so really what we try to do is we really want to make sure that our skill level range is narrow, right? So that we really start to trust that, all right, well, yeah, I could play up here, and worst case, if I'm playing down here a little bit, that's okay. Lots of times you can get the job done, you can win the set, you can get the W, you can get the win within a more narrow skill level range. Well, how do we do that? How do we stop playing this frustrating wide skill level range? Well, one of the things is what I give away as a free course, which is part of my 5 mindset training habits. I give away one of those habits, which is the between points routine. And look, the reality is that 80% of the match, if you've been with me at any amount of time here, you know what I'm talking about here. 80% of the match is spent between points or inside changes. And if you don't manage that time well, then you know what? You don't really set yourself up to play well in that next upcoming point. And you've heard the old phrase, I got to play one point at a time. It's true. And if you look too far ahead because you're not sure about your skill level range and the next upcoming points, might be good, might be just terrible, right? Is we have a tendency to, as I've said before, we have a tendency to rush and just not concentrate through that 80% of the match. So look, I got a little off topic there, but let's work on 3 things today that I think create a wide skill level range. And I'm going to give you a suggestion on each one of them, what I think would be better for you to do. Before we get into it, look, so am I here? Oh, hold on. We're nowhere. Here we go. So look, what I want you to do is just a reminder every day, daily, 8 o'clock in the morning Pacific time zone. I do a new episode of What's the Right Shot. 2 premises there. Number 1, where do you want the ball to land over there? And then number 2, where do you want to move to next on the court to enhance that shot choice that you just made? And again, every day, daily live episode of Tennis Mindset Training. The other thing I want you to look at in the channel, the YouTube channel that I've got, it's youtube.com /web tennis. And you may be on there. Maybe you're looking at this through Facebook. But I've got a couple of new playlists. And this one I really want you to take a peek at. I'm putting together some videos, instructional videos that give you 3 simple things to think about stroke technique wise. And just a really simple, these videos are all under 60 seconds. So cherry pick one of the 3 and go out and work on it and just see if that doesn't help, right? And so look, let's get back to the topic today. 3 reasons why we have a frustrating wide SLR and skill level range. And the original topic I had for today was something about 3 reasons why we don't allow ourselves to consistently play at a much higher skill level. It's a little bit what I want you to think about today, because when we play at a higher skill level consistently, we've got that narrow skill level range. And so the topics, both of them, I should say the titles, both of them are very similar. Number 1 is we focus way too much on swing tech as the answer to how we're going to win matches, right? So that we go out there and we work like a dog on a forehand or backhand or serve or whatever, and we just keep thinking that, well, if I just really make this forehand really good, that's going to be the thing that's going to win more matches. That's going to be the thing that's going to take me to a higher skill level. And the reality when we play matches is sometimes that forehand that you've been working on like a dog for the last 6 months, it shows up kind of mediocre today, right? It shows up as being average for whatever reason. Who knows? No one's got the answer to why you can one day have that great forehand and then the next day it's just kind of average. It just does. But if you're too dependent in terms of a focal, or I should say a tactical focus, if you're too dependent on stroke technique working every day at the highest possible level for you, you're going to get super frustrated and you're going to lose a lot of matches because it's just not the way it works. You've got to be able to adapt. Hey, you know what? Today I don't have that big forehand, or I don't have that one other thing going on. So what can we do to maintain, at least be average with it and make it work against this specific opponent? And once you learn how to do that, you become a better player. You actually start playing the game differently than just being a big hitter. So number 2 is you're constantly distracted by try it this way, right? So someone comes up and is saying, well, I want you to try it a different way. Something's not working for you technique wise. They say, well, let's go and try it a different way. And so you're always constantly tinkering. If you're not having a great day stroke technique wise, then you're out there looking for another answer, right? Rather than just keep going. Because if you're working on swing tech, that's great. But at some point, you have to trust that the information you're getting is good, and you have to trust the person delivering the information is good, meaning that they've actually been to where you want to go as a player, or maybe they're already there. But if you keep looking for something else because on one day something didn't quite work out, my forehand didn't show up today, okay, that's normal. That's going to happen from time to time. And if you bail out on whatever you've been working on and you go look for something else because someone else says, hey, man, I watched you today, your forehand didn't look that great. And you go, yeah, I know. Well, what do you think I should do? And then you go off and you go on to something else. Just don't do that. Stick with what you've got. Accept the reality that on some days, no matter how much you're working, the forehand's just going to show up as average, and that's okay. And the third thing is the messaging that you're giving to yourself is not a constant message of, hey, this is the skill level that I play at a regular basis, right? It's like the messaging is you hit a great shot and come on, baby. You miss a shot that normally you make and you get pissed off. And now you've got this wide swing of emotions, of messaging. Let's not even say it's emotion. Let's just say it's messaging, right? The messaging is so different depending on the outcome of what you've just done. And you may have hit a great shot, but you lost a point. right? And that gets to be a little frustrating. You may have hit a lucky shot in the messaging because, oh my God, I'm so lucky, whatever. You've got to start visualizing a skill level that you want to play at. And and really literally, I mean, visualization has really helped me a lot over the years in terms of being able to have a narrow skill level range. I never ever think to myself ever again that I'm going to play at this lower level that I used to. I'm always thinking that I'm going to be up in the upper levels and I'm visualizing that, right? I mean, that's been a big mental shift for me. And I think that's one of the reasons I had such a good year in 2023 and the end of 2022 is I just always thought of myself not as this player that was like a whole rating label up, but I thought of myself as this player that was super consistent in terms of the upper level of whatever was my former wide skill level range. I now had a much more narrow range, and that range was always playing at the top. So if I'm a whatever my let's call me a 4 or 5. Yeah, I mean, would I visualize playing at the 5-0 level? Not really. I just visualize playing always at the top of my range. And I just never ever thought about the bottom level. So it's a long-winded kind of explanation of I would say that you got to spend some time visualizing off the court in terms of what is the top of your skill level and realistically what's the top, right? And just start visualizing. Sit down somewhere, shut your eyes for a minute, 60 seconds, and just see yourself playing at that level over and over and over again. And I think if you continue to give yourself that visual messaging, what you're going to find is that when you go out in the court, that not right away, it's not like a light switch where, hey man, hey Brent, I visualized for 2 minutes yesterday. How come today it didn't show up? Well, okay, we're smarter than that, right? We know this stuff takes time, it takes work. And so you might actually carve out some time twice a day to visualize for say 2 minutes or 3 minutes, the top of that skill level range that you're at and seeing yourself doing it. And it might take you a month. What do you care? If it takes you a month to where now all of a sudden that wide skill level range that you had before, the bottom of it starts to get eliminated and you start to more consistently play at the top of your skill level range. Why do you care if it takes a month? You don't care, right? Because there's no light switch we can just go flip on and oh boy, now all of a sudden I'm up there. This stuff takes work. If you put in the time for 30 days, you'll become a better player. And one of the reasons that you'll become a better player is that most players won't do this. Most players, what I'm suggesting you do today, won't do it. They'll listen to it and they go, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Aha, okay, had a little epiphany there. Might try it once or twice. Most players won't do it. Why don't you be the one that's in the minority that actually carves out some time and does it? So, guys, hope this has been helpful today on those 3 reasons why most of us have a frustrating wide skill level range, and I think 3 ways you can overcome those things, or a way you can overcome those things, and really narrow that skill level range to make it the very top. So look, I'm going to encourage you to go inside the channel, the Web Tennis YouTube channel, and look for that playlist where I'm starting to build it. It's brand new. It's only been out there for about a few days, a week or so, but I want to help you with some simple, not complicated, but some simple swing tech. 3 things to think about. I call them cues, CUES. And I want to do it within or under a 60-second video. So I hope this has been helpful today, guys. Certainly, any questions, any comments, let me know down below. You can always shoot me an email, brent@webtennis.com. And yeah, if you love this stuff, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you get alerted every time I go live or update or upload new content. All right, guys, that's it for me today. As always, thanks for hanging out. Let's get out there. Let's get out there, help someone else have a great day. Guys, see you again next time.